All right, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and I am recording another video at 2 in the morning, which is why I don't have my green screen on. Today, we're going to be talking about the Stand Proud Together event milestone, which is going to be launching later on today. I want to talk about, I want to clear up some confusion that some people might have with the event as well, because it actually, to score points, well, I mean, you do need to spend campaign energy, but it's actually just the Alliance donation part of it, and so I would refrain from doing your donation until after the event goes live. We'll talk about that. We also have this new special Dark Dimension 6 Hit the Lights event, and I want to talk about that as well, and why I want to tell you not to open your gold orbs for it. It's a completely trashy event, and it is not related to the month-long event, so it's probably a good idea not to open your gold orbs, which most likely is going to be required for an upcoming event, because there always are now for gold orbs and training orbs. So that's just my personal advice, but we'll get into that more in the video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. So first off, we have this. This is the Stand Proud Together event milestone. Now, like I said in my previous video, this isn't an event that was planned. This wasn't even on the June monthly calendar. This is essentially a replacement event because of the issues with the Stone Cold Spiders and that event item that a lot of people weren't able to reach. And so they brought out this event, which I guess has a skin attached to it. Which skin, I'm not entirely sure. It could be the Nico Minoru costume. Honestly, I don't know, because it hasn't showed up in the costume shop yet for me, so I'm not entirely sure. There is some Dark Dimension 6 countdown orbs, and for better fragments, and for better or for worse, this is not actually a terrible orb, but basically by going through this entire milestone, you're going to get 40,000 currency, and that's going to basically replace that event item. However, like I said in the other videos as well, is that don't consider this to be a bonus event, because that's not really what it is as such, because it's replacing one of the Alliance-based events, the Cosmic Crucible one that was supposed to happen, and I believe there was one called Intergalactic Merch Booth or something like that I don't think we're getting anymore. So that 40k, this 40k rather, is just kind of it's a combination of things that we were going to get anyways. It's just a different way of doing it. That being said, it's not a very difficult milestone, and probably the best thing that you're going to get out of this in terms of usable character shards, I'm almost certain we've had a 5 red Valkyrie as a reward in other instances of other events. Same with Mighty Thor. They keep rehashing this Hero as Guardian stuff. But anyways, there's actually like 20 shards for Union Jack. Now, you may not need this necessarily, but for those of you who may, those 20 shards might lead you to a rank up, that might be something worth it. And obviously the Invaders is still a team that we're going to be using in the raids for some time to come. So that's probably the highlight of this particular one. The rest of the characters, honestly, are pretty crap. I guess they're trying to go with some sort of pride theme, but honestly, it's a pretty poor attempt at it, with most of the characters that we don't even really need at this point, and Union Jack being the real defining one here. So let's talk about the scoring, which says this is and I want to be very clear about this. Earn 1 Alliance point from donating, and you get 6 points per 1 point. And how you do that, and just for those who are not clear, and hopefully that you have saved your donation, do not donate. And it's not actually any of this. It is simply just the Alliance credit points that you get from donating 10k, 50 cores, or 100 cores. You get 10, 60, or 90, and then you're going to multiply this by 6, and that's going to be your daily total. So it has nothing to do with the boxes. So I guess this is part of their sort of anti-hoarding mechanics that they're trying to implement. If you guys may have caught it in the update, the patch update post as well, that they're trying to do away with that when it comes to Blitz milestones by improving the amount of Blitz credits that you get in the actual blitzing portion of it, and they're getting rid of future Blitz credits in the milestones. So these are all part and parcel, I think, of this attempt to, crack down on hoarding, because the boxes were actually something that you could hoard a day in advance as well. So let's move on to the math. This is the Stand Proud Together event. It is a 7-day event. It's actually pretty easy to clear. So it requires 7,560 points. You get 6 points, again, just from the donation part of that, and then 1 point per campaign energy spent. It's pretty easy. You do get 10 points for donating 10k gold, 60 points for donating 50 cores, and you get 90 points for donating 100 cores. Now, what the numbers that you see in the blue, the shaded blue, that's basically how much points you're going to be getting for the milestone over the course of 7 days. So as you can see, you don't really get a lot for donating 10k gold, but you do get a lot more for donating 50 cores and 100 cores. I don't think the 100 cores is really that necessary, but the this one is. And actually, now that I'm thinking it again, yeah, I mean, it's not, you really don't need to do much more than 50 cores, I would say. And you don't necessarily have to do 50 cores either, depending on how much energy you're going to be spending. Now, if you go to the campaign energy portion, what I call the free-to-play energy total is about 1,100 per day. And since you're getting only 1 point of that, but it's over 7 days, you could actually hypothetically clear the event just by spending your 1,100 energy per day. But that is 200 cores daily, or maybe 150/200, depending on, you know, your free energy pack and whatnot. But what you could do is you could actually drop this down to about 100 cores daily if you want, and just do your 50 cores on your donation, and that would make up the difference as well. So for example, like instead of doing 4 core refreshes, you could do 2 core refreshes, which would still be 240 energy. And what I could do is I could just, you know, eliminate this box here, and so your total would go to 868 energy per day, and that would still give you about 6,000 points. And if you added the 6,000 with the 2,500 from the donation of the 50 cores, that would get you to about 8,500, which actually is more than what you need. So, you know, you might even be able to wiggle like 50 or like 50 cores for some days and 100 cores for others, you know, to get that total. It's not super difficult. So they said it wasn't going to be very hard, and at least they meant it this time. But honestly, when they say it's not hard, I kind of have a hard time believing what they have to say, just because their definition of that is not always what we, the players, think it is going to be. So overall, this Stand Proud Together event is not very difficult, and that's good to know. But what I want to talk about, though, is this blog post that was also live with the update called for Prepare for Dark Dimension 6. And this is for the Hit the Lights event. And so I'm not going to really go over the backdrop, but the important thing, there's an interesting part of this, because it does say that this is going to be occurring twice. This event is going to be happening twice. Now, I don't know when this is going to be, but the first iteration is going to be June the 23rd, which is going to be tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. And it's basically all about the opening of Dark Dimension 6. But you're going to have to open gold orbs and collect milestone points from the base drop orb. Now, this particular orb is going to be in daily login calendars. That's going to be coming up soon, I guess. And the supply stores to locate base drop orb fragments. And then it just kind of cuts off here and says the event will go live. And this was an ongoing joke a little bit on Reddit, because I feel like they didn't quite finish the blog post, and I didn't see any follow-up information regarding this. So there's a little bit of confusion, particularly around this base drop orb, but the main part that you're going to be getting milestone points is through opening gold orbs. And this is the part where I don't really like, because I don't think it's a really good idea to be spending your gold orbs on this, because I think there's going to be much better things to do with it. And we're going to expand the table here and kind of take a look at it. Now, if you look at some of the rewards, it largely contains Dark Dimension 6 countdown orbs, which again are not terrible. You get 500 points per opening 1 gold orb. You can see that down here. And the milestones are set up in a very funny way. The points are kind of funny because, for example, if you were to open 2 gold orbs, you get 1,000 points, but the milestone's like 1070, which means you need to open up another one, and 16. Like, I think they're awkward numbers intended for you to have to open an extra gold orb or 2, you know, to get to these milestone parts. And while the orbs are not terrible, you do need to score, actually, I forgot what it was now, 7,500 leaderboard points just to rank on the leaderboard points. So you have to be like between milestone 10 and 11 in order to do this. So this one's a little bit weird, and I don't... There is dark promotion credits in here, but I just really don't think it's worth opening your gold orbs, because I know for a fact that there is going to be another gold orb event that actually is related to the month-long event down the line. And I think if you blow all of your gold orbs on this one, that you're going to kind of regret it by not having it later down for something that's a little bit more important. Now, in terms of what's on the leaderboard, of course, this is where they're monetizing all of the Gear 18 minis and things like this. Particularly, you have to be in the 1 to 4% mark. But let me remind you that in order to actually rank on the leaderboard, you do need 7,500 points. So to get to that 1 to 4% That's just anyone who you need to be in the top 4% of people who even ranked above 7,500 points. And as we noticed with the Tough Crowds event, that's a very tough thing to do because not everyone's ranking. And the amount of players who are ranking are so small that, you know, to get into that top 4% is going to be a very tiny number. Let me tell you that. And so I would not go out of your way to try to compete in this because I think that you're either going to fall short or you're going to be highly disappointed with the amount of gold orbs that you ended up opening and not actually get to where you want to be. Now, the rest of the percentage rewards you can see here are Armory 17 and 16 orbs. I don't even think that's very good. Now, it's a bit out of the way because you can't see it because my frame is blocking it again. But it's about like 5 orbs of 16 and 17 Armory orbs. It's really not very good. The rewards are quite terrible, and I don't think it's really worth it. Now, the second thing I did want to bring up before we end the video, though, and I forgot to bring this up as I was talking about the event here, is actually the Pride event. This premium milestone. Now, I'm going to bring this up in the actual blog section. It's not 100% clear in my opinion. So there's this premium milestone. It says right here, running alongside Stand Proud together for the duration of the event is a special premium milestone that's separate from the Stand Proud Together milestone that includes even more rewards. You can purchase this "We're in this together" milestone from the supply store, and after relaunching the app, the milestone card will appear alongside the others in the milestone section. Now, the one thing that is this just gold or is it dollars? Because it says a special premium milestone. The wording of premium suggests to me that you might need to spend real money, and it says you can purchase. And whenever they use these kind of terminologies, suggests to me that maybe it's like an offer in the supply store section. I know that it's really weird because you would have to go into the supply section, and maybe that makes me think it's an offer. Because while this is the supply section of the supplies, when you first click on the supplies button, it brings up this main section. And so that's why it makes me think it might actually be an offer. But again, it's not super clear as to what we're going to be getting. But in terms of the actual rewards for it, as you can see down here, it's just kind of shards for other characters. You get some gold. And at the very bottom, you get a 6 red star Nico, which is actually not very good anyway. She's a terrible character. And you get more pink phase bits alongside some other characters. There's 10 Korg down here and 10 Gwenpool just below this. And so there are some, and some more Union Jack. So actually, if you add it with the other Union Jack, it's like 30 Union Jack shards. So that's not bad. So I would do this if it's free, or if it's very minor in terms of gold cost. But if you have to pay for it, I wouldn't even bother for that. But some people might find them to be some value if it's like $5. But even then, I don't know if I'd really do it personally. I just wanted to raise this very quickly as we're kind of rounding the bend at the end of the video. So it's not going to be that difficult for the stuff that you need to do. You know, we're still going through the Star-Lord blitzing. There's still another day and a bit on that. And so I'm kind of getting through that. There's probably going to be a Star-Lord orb opening video for all of my blitzing that I've done, just for sheer shits and giggles, just to see what kind of shards that I end up with this character. Not that I'm putting a lot of stuff into the Nowhere team at this moment, because, you know, the whole team's not even out, but we're already here talking about this new Bifrost team. I feel like they just chuck characters at us so fast that we don't even get time to even play with the existing team from the previous patch before we've already moved on. That's a completely separate conversation, though, that we might need to have in a different video, but that's not what today is. So that's going to be the end of this one. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy Pride for the rest of the month anyways, what's left of it. And of course, until next time, everybody stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.